Welcome to Season 2, Episode 20 of the Tree of Geek. My name's Josh. I'm joined tonight with Michael.
Yes, I've decided once again to no longer use my old moniker. If anybody's been listening from the beginning, you know the track's been derailed. Thinking about bringing it back, though. I feel like I've lost energy now that I'm just Michael, that guy, you know?
That does happen.
I feel sad right now. I'm not even excited for this episode. I have, like, no energy. It's just, what is life anyway? Why are we even on this blue marble?
So we can talk about some of the greatest movies ever made. Well, on tonight's episode, we have raspberry jam, Mogs, big old combs in the desert, and, of course, gigantic vacuum cleaners going suck, suck, suck.
Speaking of blowing, what is the difference between jelly and jam?
Nobody said anything about blowing.
That was the next thing.
That was the next thing. I believe one has pieces of the fruit in it and the other one doesn't or something. I don't know.
Oh. Well, I know is with a name like Smuckers, it's got to be good.
But in case you haven't figured it out, we're going to be looking at Mel Brooks and his amazing classic.
Is it amazing?
Spaceballs. I think it is absolutely amazing.
Well, I second that motion.
Well, that's good. So before we get started, Michael, what's new in your world?
All right, guys, let's stop screwing around here. New in the world of geek, as far as I'm concerned, let's talk about the most exciting finale ever of a Game of Thrones House of Dragon. That finale was by far, out of 10, a fucking 2. What the hell are we doing here? And I know the rest of the internet feels the same way. I was so jones to watch that finale, and it was a big old stink turd. Okay, it was like a big old one of them space poopies, you know, like in that Joe Dirt movie. Man, wow, was it boring as shit.
Was it worse than the series finale of Game of Thrones?
No.
Okay, so that's saying something.
No. And I didn't hate that as much as other people did, but I can definitely understand why. And apparently Kit Harington recently said in some interviews that he was so damn tired. We were all so damn tired by the time we were done with it. He said he saw pictures of himself. He just looked exhausted. They were all running on fumes.
I can imagine.
I don't know if I said this in a previous podcast or not, but we did start Severance and finish season 1 of Severance. What a mindfuck that is. And I love it.
I can tell you that the last time we talked about it...
I got Apple TV because of it.
The last time we talked about it, you were a few episodes in and you told me, it's okay. But it's one of those deep shows.
I think I was like 2 episodes in at that point.
You said it's one of those deep shows that you just kind of, you guys got to take your time with. And was it worth it?
Yeah.
The last 2-3 episodes just explode. The
last image of the characters doing certain things I will not mention definitely feed your desire to watch season 2. And I'm so glad that we'll be getting it in a couple months. Doctor Who, I finished the first season. There's some fear it's going to be canceled. We already talked about possibly why. I enjoyed the whole entire season. Overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. I thought they were finding their feet. Was it perfect? No. Was it better than some of the older Doctor Who's? Yes. It was there, and I would like to see another season of it. I would. I thought it was just fine.
With the same doctor?
Yeah. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
It's a very hard to pronounce name. That's all I remember.
Yeah. He's eccentric, and I like it. I decided to read some books. I went to a thrift bookstore with some friends, and I found a really cheap Star Trek book, and I posted some of this on the Instagram, but I also got a really cheap copy of The Wheel of Time Book 2. I was like, well, I can't start reading Book 2 because I don't work that way, so I need Book 1. Now, I'd already seen the first season, the second season, but I was like, there's that, argument, which is better, the TV show, the movie, the book, yada, yada, and you can yada, yada that. So I was like, well, I'm going to go get some books. So I got Wheel of Time, Book 1, and I got to chapter 14 or 15, somewhere around there, and over 58 chapters or so. They're not super long. But then I'm looking online at this thriftbooks.com. You can sponsor us if you want. You're a really cool site. And I saw, wow, there's a lot of books. And I was like, oh, but there's book 0. What is this? It's a prequel.
Okay, book. That's what I was going to ask. Is it a prequel?
Now, it deals with, so far, I've read the first 3 chapters. I stopped kind of reading the other one. I was like, oh, let me read. It's a lot smaller. It's like half the size. But it has Lan from our sword fighting tournament that we did. It's really about him and Rain meeting each other for the first time. If anybody knows who those characters are, they're really awesome. So I was like, well, I'm going to check this out. It's like a prequel to the whole thing, and I'm really, really digging it. I think there's like 14 or 15 books or something. There's like a lot of them. So I'm going to be reading a while.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have like 3 out of like the 15 books. And finally, the last thing for me, I finished up Star Wars Acolyte, and I don't care what anybody says. I really enjoyed it. I was really mad some characters did one thing and did other things, and this happened to this character, and I was like, what the hell? And it's got me invested for season 2.
Will there be a season 2?
Well, they say there is, yeah.
Okay.
I think Disney's like, fuck off, everybody. We're going to make more Star Wars money. Or you're going to give me more money for the Star Wars we're going to make you. So.
I haven't watched it, but...
Well, I understand.
I haven't watched a lot of the Star Wars series.
Yeah. I am happy that there's some Star Wars, Star Trek connections in what we're talking about tonight, so that's going to be cool. I did also start Star Trek Prodigy. It's kind of hard for me to watch before bed, so I'm just sticking with Sunny in Philadelphia. Because why not rewatch it? The Snyder's rewatching it as well. Well, I don't think they ever watched it all together. So if there's any fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Pepe wants his mail.
Well, it sounds like you've had a pretty busy couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
So,
what about you?
Well, speaking of watching new shows, Danae and I sat down. She finished her series. She was watching Rizzoli and Isles, the cop drama thing. A good show, but I mean, not. I mean, I can watch it, but it's not my cup of tea. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it.
The brunette lady was in some show where her daughter was a judge. Like Judging Amy. I think she was on Judging Amy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we decided to watch something new, and I said, hey, Michael keeps telling me to watch The Bear.
The Bear.
And she immediately, like, her eyes lit up. She's like, people keep telling me about that. Like,
hey, I mean, it's got Ben Grimm the Thing in it.
Let's watch it. Man, I've written down here 4 episodes in.
Faux deep.
Wow. That is an amazing show.
It just won a shit ton of awards, too.
Well, like, it appeals to you if you're a foodie. It appeals to you if you like that, like, just chaos in a show. It appeals to you if you want the family drama. Like, everything is there. And I'm very, very invested now, and I want to know where it goes.
I like the creator guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but his food shows, like he's had on his own. We just watched some barbecue show, and he showed up on it on Netflix. He's like a really good cook, and he's like a really cool guy. It's like the larger dude with all the tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the creator of the show, if you didn't know that.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's an actual chef dude.
Well, okay then. Speaking of television, I saw a trailer for something that I am horribly torn on. No, it was not Tarzan. No.
No, but I mean, it deals with jungles, right?
No. Well, kind of. I mean, there's
rhinos.
There's no jungle anywhere in the trailer. Did you watch it?
I watched the trailer for months ago.
Oh, this is I guess yesterday, the first official full-length trailer.
Yeah,
just Craven the Hunter by Sony.
Yes.
I watched the trailer.
Morbius.
They are going the bloody route. Like, they're going, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was rated R because it looks very
I think they watched Deadpool, went back and said, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we should make this edgier.
And then they showed the Rhino briefly, and he looks like, do you remember the old Power Rangers?
I saw a quick, I saw a quick
He looks
image.
like a version of that with a horribly oversized CGI nose and horns coming out of his forehead.
Well, if there's one thing Sony will teach us, it's you got to have CGI in a movie. That's what makes it.
I almost,
but not quite,
would rather see Rhino Mech from Spider-Man come back.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
He's too busy being in the next season of one of the Star Trek shows.
It does not look clean, in my opinion. I don't. I have high hopes. I am going to keep positive. But the way I felt watching this trailer was the same excitement level I thought when I originally saw Morbius.
You know where my bar is?
Sorry, the Morbius trailer, and we all know how that movie went.
I never finished it. I fell asleep. Do you know where my bar is? My expectation bar for this?
Is it above or below House of Dragons?
Well, it's trash night, and I think it's out in the dumpster out front right now because, like, I don't give two shits. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, is that his name?
I don't know.
He was just in that Fall Guy, and he was great. He plays a real good douchebag in that movie.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah, and he was on the train movie with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Great movie, too. You should probably know these names better. But anyway, like, he's a good actor. He's great. But this, man, he just got roped in. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good. I think he might be good.
I want it to be good, but
Russell Crowe's in it. Like, come on.
I know. I just feel like, well, I'm not. It's not that I feel like. I know this is just another Sony attempt to maintain their Spider-Man franchise contract. They have to put out a Spider-Man oriented movie or.
Well, they already have other ones
content.
coming out, though. Like, why would they have to make this one? They already have other ones coming
Because
out.
they've been talking about this for like 4 years.
Would you rather see Craven or Gladiator 2 that we apparently need a sequel?
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, you kill my father, now prepare to die. Is he gonna be the next Inigo Montoya? He'd be good if they ever redid that movie.
He would be,
but they shouldn't. And I don't know what actress I just saw. She's like, if anybody touches that movie and remakes it, I will find you in your house and I will kill you. Like, do not fuck with The Princess Bride. And I agree.
I get behind that.
Let's not
completely.
fuck with that movie. Let's not. Like, it's perfect as it is.
Oh, jeez. The Boys has finished.
Did I message you or did I do it in my head about did you finally, you said
You did not message me.
Okay,
No.
so I heard it when I was listening to the podcast over. You're like, I'm not going to watch it till it's all out. I can binge it. So that didn't
It is
happen.
over. I didn't watch it yet, but now that it's completely over, I'm ready to sit down and get into it. I heard that it had some ups and downs, but it ended strong, I guess. I don't know for sure. That's just what I was told, but I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm probably going to love it.
It's just wacky.
Of course.
Just balls to the walls nuts, as usual.
Well, wacky would definitely fall under Umbrella Academy Season 4, the final season.
Yeah, I just watched the first 2 episodes with Amelia.
I am fully prepared to watch it, just like The Boys. I haven't yet, but I've heard very, very good things.
That cast of characters, Diego's wife, she showed up in the last season, the hotel one, right? That's where she popped up. Dude,
no, the crazy one?
Yeah. Black hair crazy lady?
She was in the second season, but
she was a primary character.
She became
in the
a
hotel.
main character last season, yeah.
I love her, dude. She's just... And then the little kid, 5, dude,
Yep.
dude, wow. I like what I see. I recommend people check it out.
And I love watching like old shows. And the one person you always see pop up is was it Tom Hopper?
Well, Hyperion. I cast him as Hyperion.
Yeah.
He's skinny though. He got skinny up in this one, the first episode. He's skinny. He's still tall as shit, but he's like skinny.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, and it also
I'm running out of things to talk about.
Well, let's just talk about Spaceballs.
Well,
that's what we're here for.
There's 2 other things I've got here. And again, it's just TV. Rings of Power Season 2 is coming very quickly, and
Yeah.
I've yet to watch the trailer for it. I don't know how I feel about it. We've talked about my feelings on the first season.
Well, listen, I remember I told you, I was messaging you back and forth because we haven't recorded a podcast in a minute because of scheduling and things going on. But I remember I was reading the Silmarillion. That's right. I was reading the stereo instructions known as the Silmarillion. And
The instruction manual.
I didn't finish. I skimmed through. Through like with a bunch of chapters, but like I can understand why some things like the whole what they can put in the show and what they can't put in the show. It's man, there's so much that they could have done if they'd had the rights to that, but they're using appendices instead. Like that's all they can really touch.
Yeah, the Tolkien estate holds a very, very tight lock and key on anything Lord of the Rings trademarked.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm joining you, and I'm joining John and Natalie. I am currently halfway
Once upon a time.
I'm currently through. I am currently halfway through season 3 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I thought you were gonna say Supernatural.
I've seen that.
Somebody in our friends group recently said they started Supernatural.
Joe?
Anyway, no, I don't know who it was.
I don't know, but I'm
not important.
halfway
Anyway.
through season 3, and you're right. Season 1 was rough. Get through it. It gets better, and now I'm kind of, I don't want to say addicted, but I thoroughly look forward to each episode.
What's the last thing you watched? Do you remember?
The last thing I watched was the chain restaurant wanted to buy the bar, so they tried to play hard to get more money, and then he pulled the offer, so they tried to act like a gang. Then they all got jobs at the one restaurant, and then to get everybody fired from the restaurant because D likes to steal.
Yeah, wow, you must have really zipped through them because, like, you're ahead of the Snyders
They're
on
only
their
like
watch.
20 minutes long.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe it's. Well, I've been going slower. Well, I just watch them before bed sometimes, but I've seen them all.
Okay.
So, like, for me to rewatch it, I
So
fall
it would be
asleep
like
and I wake up.
me-
It's another episode.
It would be like me rewatching The Office for the 9th time.
Yeah,
It's
The
not an
9th time?
exaggeration.
Jeez,
Not an
man.
exaggeration. I've seen that so many times.
I
That was my
can't-
guilty
can't-
pleasure show. I'd put it on for if I'm doing something. And
If it's randomly on, I can pay attention a little bit in the background, but I cannot sit there and watch episode after episode of it. I've tried.
Oh, I love it.
I'm a Parks and Rec guy instead.
I've never tried. Well, I've tried Parks and Recs. I got through like 2 episodes. I do want to.
I think the first episode of that one's rough too.
Really?
But the Pit, come on, the Pit, baby. Anyway,
that's all I've got.
That's all you got.
New and geek. Yeah. I just spent the last 2 days rewatching Spaceballs, a little at a time as I had time, and then today rewatched the ending of it. Just I didn't really get to pay attention as much as I wanted the last couple days.
Spaceballs.
But I could watch that movie once a week and be happy. Maybe once a month. I mean, Mel Brooks.
It's on the background, maybe.
Mel Brooks is just an amazing creator and director. But rewind for 1 second. Michael, what is Spaceballs?
Spaceballs is basically a parody of Star Wars and other sci-fi things. Mel Brooks got with George Lucas to get permission to do the parody. He's like, yeah, he watched it, he said the plot structure is good. I like the movie. And then you have good old Blondie from Star Wars, Luke Skywalker himself. I don't know if he's making a joke or not, but not George Hamill, just merge them together.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill says that he thought his movies were funnier. He said it in an interview. I don't know if he was being serious or not, but
that the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, Star Wars was funnier. I don't know. I think he was being facetious, possibly. Who knows? But Spaceballs, yeah, it's a parody of Star Wars. You have, instead of the Force, you got the Schwartz, the upside and the downside of that. You have a Star Trek actor that we'll talk about pops up for a quick second in one of the famous scenes. You got some Planet of the Apes. You got aliens. Alien. I guess it's alien, not aliens. Hello, my baby. There's a bunch of things thrown in here. It's a pop culture deal that if you are around the age, if you're a millennial or a zennial, whatever the term is, if you were born in the 70s, early 80s, you'll understand a lot of references that are thrown in here. I don't know if you could give this to a 15 to 20-year-old now and have them watch it. They'll probably laugh, but they probably won't understand all the classic references, the VHS references, laser disc, like even the Pizza Hut stuff. Pizza Hut was a whole different animal when we were kids, Josh. It was a way bigger property than what it is now. Some people they don't even know what Kmart is anymore. So, but yeah, it's a parody of that stuff, and it's brilliant. It is, in my opinion, one of the best comedies ever made. We know that Mel Brooks has made a lot of really great movies. Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein is the first one I ever saw.
Same.
I'm sitting there like probably 7, 8 years old. It's in black and white. And it's fucking hilarious. I'd seen Willy Wonka, so I knew who Gene Wilder was, but even as a 7-year-old, I was dying with that one. But he's done a lot of the history of the world. They even came back for a TV show of that. Just, he's great. So way back, when did this movie come out?
1987.
1987. This movie comes out. It's in the box office for 11 weeks, makes $38 million on a budget of $22.7 million. So,
respectable.
Yeah. For back then, it wasn't like, oh, you need to make 7 times your budget or you're a failure.
Didn't we say like the early Terminator movies had a budget around the same, like 20 to 30 million?
Yeah, but that made a lot of money.
Yeah, that did make a lot more money.
Yeah, a lot of money. Let's not get ahead of ourselves through our time traveling.
Mel Brooks should have done a parody of that.
That would have been good.
That would be. There's still time. He's still out there.
Yeah. There's a reference to Max Headroom in here that I didn't even know that was the reference for. I'm not doing trivia. Whenever we get to that part of the movie, we're gonna sort of go through the movie sort of chronologically. Now, spoilers abounding here. If nobody has seen Spaceballs and you're like, I do not want these jokes or references ruined, stop this right now. Go take an hour and 40 minutes out of your day. Go watch that movie and come back. I honestly don't want the jokes ruined for you, but if you have, you can follow along with this.
Well, it's going on 40 years old. Okay.
It's been around a while.
It is. Can I call this one a cult classic?
This is just a classic period, but sure.
Okay.
I'm sure cults watch it as well.
This is one of those
Dark Helmet cult.
This is one of those movies that if you're in a bad mood and put this on, you will be in a good mood. Like, it's just one of those movies that
it's so brainless.
You cannot help but smile while you watch it.
Yes.
And that's how Mel Brooks was. And I even have written down some of the things that he's known for in chronological order to make you feel better.
I do it.
Blazing Saddles in 1974, Young Frankenstein, Silent Movie, High Anxiety, Cannonball Run. History of the World Part 1, Spaceballs, Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Oh my god.
One of my personal favorites.
Yeah. I feel like he got better as he went on for sure.
And Dracula, Dead and Loving It. Those are just a few. I mean, there's so many.
My horror movie watching, I just got through 1994, 1995, Dracula. It's on my list.
Well, and see, that's the joy of Mel Brooks. It didn't matter what genre it was. He was going to parody it. Blazing Saddles, Westerns, Young Frankenstein, horror.
With Mel Brooks, there's no scary movie. There's not. I don't think the Wayans and other people would have done a lot of parodies, not another teen movie, things like that. Without Mel Brooks clearing the path back in the day and showing how it could be done properly. I don't know who did Airplane though, because Airplane's like a really good parody as well. But I mean, without movies like that, you don't get scary movies and stuff.
Right.
So they're talking about bringing back the Wayans. I don't know if they're attached or not. But.
So it's kind of like how Weird Al was the first to do parody songs and just
at least make it popular. He's the first one I knew of.
Paved the way for it.
'Cause I'm fat, you know it. I did put a couple pounds on.
Side note, have you seen that movie with Daniel Radcliffe? The Weird Al movie?
No. I ran across it the other day.
It's actually
about it.
Very well done. I actually really enjoyed it.
How's his accent? Weird Al Yankovic. He's got a certain speech pattern to him.
Yeah,
and a deepness to his voice.
In my opinion, his acting is solid for it. I really did enjoy that movie.
It's like I saw Tom Hanks. He was doing the Mr. Rogers, and I loved him. Tom Hanks is great, and I'm glad he's a citizen of another country now. But I'm like, why? I didn't see him as like that guy. Yeah.
What is that? Will You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah.
Something like
you can't do everything. I
wanted to watch it, but I haven't seen it yet.
What about some scores? What did this thing get? Give me a couple things. What do you got?
Spaceballs, 1987, got a currently, so almost 40 years later, it's still at a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's pretty good.
I mean, you got to figure people are going to find it. They're going, oh, this is dated. They're going to rate it lower. It's average to be a 7.1. You got to figure most people are giving it either a 6 or an 8 or just a 7.
I know a lot of the sites that I go to see what movies are coming out. Generally, a lot of the movies are between a 5 and a 6.
Oh, lately.
Or way lower.
Yeah, lately. I feel like Hollywood is in a massive rut, and that's why we're seeing every decade, you see that massive, that massive push of reboots and sequels, and we're in that again.
Yeah.
Nothing original is coming out right now.
No. They even make a Rocky reference in here. Was it Rocky 5000?
Yes.
Rotten Tomatoes, 52%, what the critics said, but the audience is an 83.
That's because critics, we've talked about this before, suck.
Yeah. I think Siskel and Ebert were nice about it.
Well, and I did look into it. We could become movie critics, but you have to get like a degree and stuff like that and film and too much work. So we're going to give you our unofficial movie critic.
Yeah.
Critique.
What do you give yours out of 10? What did you give this?
Oh, I give it a solid 8.
Solid 8? Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. It's not perfect.
No, there's room for improvement, but at the same time, it's a movie that I have no problem watching.
It's again another movie where if you're not going to sit on your cell phone, you're going to put your cell phone down.
Yeah,
and you want to pay attention. I've seen this movie probably 20 times in my life, and
there's really no dead time. Everything in that movie.
It's a very tight movie.
Yes.
Everything has
the hour and a half goes very quickly.
There's no 20-minute spiel back and forth talking blah blah blah. We don't care. It zips through.
We're not watching him try and use the Force and raise an X-wing out of the swamp for 25 minutes.
No. We'll get to what happens when he does use the Schwartz. But who directed this movie? Mel Brooks, obviously. Written by Mel Brooks, Thomas Meehan, and Ronnie Graham. Not sure what else they've done. Score John Morris. Apparently he worked on 20 different films with Mel Brooks. He also did Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. So he was a staple.
Wow.
And I thought the theme music in this was pretty good. It was a decent score.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I think scores are starting to become a lost art.
And then towards the end, you get I forget what song it was now.
Spaceballs?
Yeah. Well, I guess it was Spaceballs.
Well, you got Bon Jovi in here.
Yeah.
There's a couple, rock and metal songs. I think there was Sammy Hagar I heard somewhere.
When they turn the radio on in the Winnebago. Yeah,
well the first one when you first see him is Raise Your Hands by Bon Jovi, and then I think when they're in the diner there's Sammy Hagar, I think.
I'm not honestly sure. We'll go with it.
Sure. Yeah. Cast. Who's the main cast?
The main cast.
Not the 15 to 20 other comedians that pop up randomly in this thing to make it great, but who's the main cast?
There's so many. Okay, so the main cast, as always, Mel Brooks. He puts himself as a role in every one of his movies.
Did double duty in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I have him down as President Scroob.
Which is Brooks mixed around.
Yep. And who was the other one?
Yogurt. And when he almost died, apparently the makeup almost killed him.
What?
Yeah, he had like a huge allergic reaction to it and almost died.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He pushed through. I mean, he's like, yeah, and Rick Moranis was sick too. But who did Rick Moranis play?
Rick Moranis played Dark Helmet, the Darth Vader wannabe.
Well, during the doll scene, he had a horrible fever. He was super sick.
And then we have one of my all-time favorite actors, John Candy, playing Barf. He's
a Mog.
The half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
And who is his best friend though?
Bill Pullman playing Lone Star,
who had never seen a Star Wars movie before this.
That was probably a good thing.
They wanted Tom Cruise and some other guy to play, and they weren't able to get him.
I'm glad it was Bill Pullman. I really am.
He's a dweebish, but yet charming, and he was a lot younger. He was a decent looking dude. I mean, he had you could just smell the what's the cologne that has like the sailboat on it?
Old Spice.
He just his leather jacket just looks like it just.
Yeah, I was thinking like that.
Spice.
Remember the old green can of Brute?
Yeah, either Brute or Old Spice. Maybe a mix of both. Whatever he had laying around.
And then one day he would go on to give that rousing speech in Independence Day,
and then come back for part 2. Oh,
that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer that movie never happened.
Oh, that movie was horrible.
Then we have Princess Vespa, played by
Vespa,
the gorgeous Daphne Zuniga.
Do you think we have Vespas because of her? Did they name it a Vespa? Was there Vespas before her?
They're definitely Vespas. Is that what they were? Her.
Okay, I didn't know. I'm not much in the Italian wheeled realm.
She, back in the 80s, I mean, she was one of those, like, the old school, she was gorgeous. I mean, even if you look her up, she's still beautiful. And
she is that classic beauty I got her.
But see, the best part I love about it is she was one of the ones that, even though, like, most of the people back in that, era like that, they usually had a certain way about them.
Well, she was apparently like really kind of afraid, or not really afraid of Mel Brooks, but apparently she was not a fan of his movies. She didn't think they were very funny, and she thought that he was just going to be like this not cool director. And I guess they ended up having a really good relationship afterwards. But she walked into this very hesitantly, thinking, "Man, this is gonna suck."
Oh, wow! Well, I mean, you could just tell, like, she didn't take herself too seriously. She enjoyed making.
Nobody takes himself seriously, which is great.
And then we have her father playing King Roland, Dick Van Patten.
He was in a lot of stuff back in the day. I can't even really place what he was in, but he was in a lot of movies.
Yep. And then we have a bunch of other people. But
what? Dot Matrix.
No. All right, I'll keep going.
Dot Matrix is the main character.
I'll keep going. We have Colonel Sanders.
You're just going to roll over Dot Matrix.
Played by George Weiner. I have Dot Matrix on here. I'm getting there.
I said main cast, but sure, keep going.
Colonel Sanders was main cast.
Yeah, for the bad guys.
Dot Matrix, played by Lorene Yarnell Jansen.
Who was a professional mime.
Voiced by Joan Rivers.
Yes. Who was a very popular comic back in the day.
Very much so.
And now she's on the ETV doing dress things with her daughter, and there's more Botox and plastic surgery going on than you can shake a stick
She's
at.
now more artificial than Dot Matrix was.
Oh, man. I love how she has the wheels, though, and, like, she's just being pulled along half the time.
Yep. I think one of my other favorites is we have Michael Winslow. He's credited as a radio technician. And if you're listening and you don't know Michael Winslow,
go watch Police Academy.
He is the sound effects man of Police Academy. He is insane. Like the noises that come out of that man's mouth. I don't know how.
He's just, go look up a YouTube clip of him just doing sounds.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean,
you will be amazed. I'm not sure.
Legend in his own time.
I saw him in a movie from like 10 years ago. I think he just did like a quick little bit. Like, I'm not sure. He's probably just sitting back collecting money is probably what he's doing in his life. Or he had tax evasion. I don't know. It seems like celebrities are one of the.
We've got like what, 47 police academies.
Yeah. Just stop after 4 or 5.
Was he in Blazing Saddles?
I've never seen that movie all the way through. I know I'm a fraud, but
so I heard it was a joke, But did you hear
So.
they're gonna remake Blazing Saddles, but completely politically correct with no racism? The whole movie's gonna be 8 minutes long.
Yeah. Ridiculous. People take stuff too seriously.
That movie, though, I remember the first time I saw it because my parents would never let me watch it, and I loved Spaceballs. I loved Robin Hood Men in Tights. I loved Young Frankenstein. I'm like, why can't I watch this one? Later, I found out why I couldn't watch that one.
I've seen some chunks of it. I gotta sit down and watch it one of these days. I do.
It's good. It's very good. I would put it probably equal, if not right there, like under Spaceballs.
People claim it's one of the funniest movies ever, so I'm gonna have to put that to the test. Dom DeLuise plays Pizza the Hut. One of my one of my favorite lines ever comes up towards the end of the movie about that. So that guy, they did the pizza thing. You said you think, I'm pretty sure there was like real pizza on this.
I couldn't find it, but I remember reading once that it was a real pizza outfit.
Well, I'm sitting here watching and it's just dripping.
Like it was real cheese and stuff melted and put on it. And it was insanely hot inside.
Well, the original guy, the actor who's supposed to do this, I don't know if he was in any of the actual shot footage, but he was in the suit, at least for test footage. Because it was so hot and uncomfortable to get in and out of. He said he would never do it again, never went back up to it. So some other stunt coordinator guys did it instead, and Dom DeLuise did the voice of it. But oh man, we'll get to Pizza the Hut. Rudy Del Luca plays Vinny, which is a parody of Max Headroom. He's like the robot dude.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then Rhonda Shear is the woman in the diner. And then we get Tim Russ from Star Trek. He's in here. We'll get to his part. But who from Aliens is in this?
The amazing John Hurt.
The amazing John Hurt. You're damn right.
He's credited in the credits as John Hurt. Not even the character from Alien. No, it's just, we got John Hurt, people. That's good enough.
He's a decent name back in the day.
Because I love when he's like, not again.
Yeah. But then we have just a shit ton of cameos. We're not going to go through all these, but there's just so many people that show up. A lot of different comedians that have done different things. So I didn't know this, but apparently the Dinks, the Jawas parodies, Phil Hartman played one of them, and I didn't know this. At least that's what the internet tells me.
Who's Phil Hartman?
He was on news radio. He was, I think, killed by his wife.
Oh.
Yeah, like back in the 90s. The Joe Rogan news radio show that used to be on. It was a great show. Phil Hartman, he was on Saturday Night Live. Great comedian back in the day. Pretty sure he was also in Black Sheep and Tommy Boy. He was in all those type of movies. He's the guy who's trying to get Schwarzenegger's wife in Jingle All the Way. He's trying to like steal the family. I don't know why you'd want to oppose somebody like Schwarzenegger, even if he is just a mild-mannered guy and try to steal his wife. But yeah, he played real good sleazeballs back in the day. So that's pretty much everybody that was in the movie.
And Jim Jackman as Major Asshole.
Surrounded by assholes.
All right, so you rewatched this movie this week, correct?
I watched it yesterday.
I like I said, I rewatched it over a couple days.
I got right off from work, came down to the man cave, put it on the TV.
So let's just dive into the movie. Now, like we said, we're not going to go over a full scene by scene, but we are going to cover most of the movie simply because...
Pretty much by jokes.
Well, yeah, simply because every scene in this movie is something worth quoting or talking about.
Yes.
So what do you have first on your list?
Once Soon, a Time Warp. So they start with the scrolling like in Star Wars. Instead of Once Upon a Time, it's like Once Upon a Time Warp, and then it's like if you can't read this, get glasses or something. Like
it's nothing that matters to the story.
And it says at the very end, this is chapter 11, as in bankruptcy. like this isn't gonna make any money.
Oh, I didn't get that. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So apparently, they're running out of air. Spaceballs. Which is, I guess, a planet, galaxy. System of it's like
it looked like a giant space station.
Yeah, but they're running out of air, so they need to steal air. And then we run into what I loved as a kid, the Forever Ship. This ship, which had a great soundtrack, by the way. Whoa, whoa, and like, oh, okay. And then the ship, there's more ship. And there's more ship.
And more. And more.
I'm sitting here now. I was laughing my ass off so hard. And I'd seen this so many times. It just every time it'd be, oh, I'd be like, no, there's more ship. And of course, at the very end, they break for nobody. We meet Colonel Sanders, Sandurs, I think is how it's spelled. Obviously, a play on Colonel Sanders because KFC was really big back then.
It's Sandurz.
Z. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I typed it up.
Well, they had to avoid
phone,
copyright infringement.
So, and then we meet Dark Helmet.
Played by Rick Moranis.
Oh, the great Rick Moranis. He chews up every scene he is in this movie. He just murders everything he's in here.
Well, it's funny. The first thing I ever saw him
He's easily
in,
the best actor in this entire movie.
Oh, hands down.
Fucking
Between him and John Candy, like it was a golden
masterclass in how to be a comedian on screen.
The first thing I ever saw Rick Moranis in was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is a family-friendly movie. And then later Ghostbusters. Oh, okay, he plays the timid dude. But then this comes around.
I felt like he had a little bit of Ghostbusters in here.
It was a completely different feel for him, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
I saw this before I saw the Little Shop of Horrors remake with him.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
That's a good movie. We should cover that.
I just want to be a dentist.
But no, yeah, Rick Moranis is like top of his game in this.
And he's wearing glasses under his helmet. I don't know why. He has trouble drinking coffee through his helmet. Did you notice that all of the... There's gonna be a lot of laughing in this one.
I was just gonna say we're gonna be laughing a lot.
The butt armor.
Yes.
There's butt cheek armor.
On all the stormtroopers or whatever.
There's a couple times in the movie where they get shot in the ass, and then everybody's doing like flips when they get shot. Like they're acrobatic people. It's amazing. The Vespa, we meet Princess Vespa, and we meet the planet Druidia, which is apparently an actual castle. You know, they did the matting on the screen, but it's an actual castle in Bavaria, maybe. But it's on a coin. It's actually on a gold coin, this castle. There's no affiliation.
Oh.
They didn't do it because of the coin, but it's actually on a coin that you can get. It's like currency or something. So,
okay, well, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. The car that Vespa runs off in is
a
Mercedes. Like he's like, if at all, could you just, save the car? Just like, don't damage the car. And then we get the amazing Winnebago.
Yes. The Winnebago with wings.
So I got to jump in here about merchandising, which is a whole other thing later on.
I was gonna say.
But a big thing that everybody knows about Star Wars is George Lucas, when he's making Star Wars, he didn't, during the contract deal, so if you get in this movie made, if they're going to let him do it or not, he gets the rights to merchandising. The studio's like, well, we don't give a shit. Like, fine, take that. They didn't realize that the merchandising is what was going to explode for Star Wars and make George Lucas so much fucking money.
And Al Guinness, he took like minimal pay. I think he did the movie for like 1% of merchandise sales, and that turned out to be substantially more than any payday.
The amount of toys that Star Wars sells. So George Lucas, has a conversation. He's like, yeah, you can make this movie, this parody movie, that's fine, but you can't make there's no merchandising. You're not making toys. Your toys are going to look too similar to my toys, to the Star Wars toys. Like, you can't do that. So Mel Brooks is like, that's fine. I won't do that. So they did this competition a couple years back, Lego. They did some giant poll survey of what Lego set people wanted to have made. The Winnebago from Spaceballs won.
No way.
But even though it won, they weren't able to do it because of the merchandising issues. Would you not love to have a giant Lego Winnebago? That is one of the...
Yes.
Whenever they do like the top 10 spaceships of all time, I'm like, where's the Winnebago?
So they can do the entire office from The Office. But they can't do a Winnebago with wings.
Nope.
That looks like nothing in that entire Star Wars franchise. Ever.
I didn't make the rules.
Oh, that's a shame. So
then in the Winnebago, we meet John Candy. He's Mog. We meet Bill Pullman. He's Lone Star. Not a prince yet, though. We get the amazing Bon Jovi. Raise your hands. Mog's dancing around. He's eating his dog chow. There's
a giant bucket.
It's just, everything is just so specifically done perfectly here. I think it's good that I have, and maybe you have watched this so many times, because I caught things in Mog's room I didn't catch before. I didn't catch the bag of like what Purina dog chow that's laying over there.
Oh yeah.
And like just like a bunch of there's a tube TV that's torn apart later on when the princess is in there. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I never noticed. As a kid, you're just like, you're looking at the jokes, just hearing them, and you're moving on. But it's fun to just pick out little tiny things. It's a mastery of how well this movie's put together with the small intricate details.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And who do they meet when they're in the Winnebago? What is the whole issue? Because a movie has to have what's the issue? What is the plot device to make this thing go round for our good guys?
They get a phone call.
What is their hero's journey?
And they meet Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut.
Oh man.
the way the queso is just dripping.
Yes.
Like pieces of pepperoni are falling. It's so fucking disgusting.
And our main characters owe 100,000 credits or dollars or whatever it is.
Space bucks.
Oh, but wait a minute. There's interest. It's now 1 million.
1 million space bucks. Where are we going to get that type of cash?
Watching that, it's like as exaggerated as the acting was, it was still almost believable. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like,
they were invested in their roles.
I will say it
Everybody
so many times during this episode that the scripting of this was perfect. Mel Brooks, he had this comedic timing that is just unmatched. His scripts and stuff were done so perfectly for people.
Well, he was so lucky to have actors to pull off those lines too.
Well, see, I feel like he was incredibly picky with who he got. But I also wonder how much of these movies are just straight up improv.
I would love to see behind the scenes and see how much ad-libbing it might be going on. Like I know like movies these days like Superbad, which I guess it really isn't these days, but even Superbad or Wedding Crashers, like those movies are just Seth Rogen and people are just Vince Vaughn. They're just one-liner, go, and they just kind of pick what the best is.
That's how Ryan Reynolds is as well.
I don't know if I could picture Tom Cruise being so schlubby as Bill Pullman is.
No, not at all.
He's like macho, but yet cool, but yet he's kind of like a dweeb. Yeah, he's a douche. Now listen here.
What's all that? Matching luggage.
Yeah, so they meet Pizza the Hut, and then King Roland calls him up and says, listen, my daughter's ran off. She's going to get captured by Spaceballs. You need to save them. Their price to save her, 1 million space bucks. He agrees. Instantly, they know right where she is.
They're like 25 feet away from her immediately.
The next thing I wrote down here was headphone buns. So you got
oh my word.
Dot Matrix is doing this whole spiel because she's like the protector, best friend robot.
She's a C-3PO.
She's a C-3PO, yes. And Princess Vespa's not responding to anything she's fucking saying. And then she takes off her ear headphones, and they're the Princess Leia buns.
I remember seeing that as a kid and like just losing it because I'd seen Star Wars and I'm like, oh, okay, she's going to be the same way. Nope. They immediately shattered that mold.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah. I liked her better than Carrie Fisher as far as like even the characters and the actresses.
And I also love how they just had absolutely no cares about the quote unquote like sci-fi physics of space.
No, I got something written down here. Keep going. What do you
like? How they park above her ship, drop a ladder, and just go down.
Yeah, I wrote down here, breathe in space.
Yeah. Or like at the end when there's a diner, you see all these ships parked on the space station, people just walking into the diner outside.
Yeah. Backing up a little bit, we meet Scroob at Spaceball City.
Cracks a can of air.
Is it Derriere instead of Perrier? There's a guy called Snotty who is going to beam him to the main control deck. He gets beamed backwards.
He even cracks a joke. He's like, it's good enough for Star Trek.
Right? So he's got a beam. He beams him back again. And he's like, no, this time I'll walk. And he's in the next room over. Like the comedy of that. The fact that who would have thought like, no, we'll just have him in the next room like that. It was so ridiculous. Every joke is just, you go back and go, well, that was so ridiculous. That joke was ridiculous. This was asinine. So over the top.
Yes. But at the same time,
it's meant to be that way. That's
but at the same time, like all of the jokes that Mel Brooks puts into these, like all of his movies are so smart. Like they're intelligently
very clever,
thought out.
Very clever.
Oh man, there's so many things that looking back as an adult watching, I haven't seen this movie in 15, 20 years. Going back and rewatching it, I caught so much more. Like we talked about some of the names and stuff, but so much more this time around than I did as a kid.
Do you ever want to give the salute that they give here to like your boss or somebody? Or like just somebody irritates you in the office and they just, you're giving the, and then just the little wavy little fingers like, oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? That salute is fucking
I do now.
We run into Marlene and Charlene. Way back in the day, I don't know if anybody knows who's listening, the Doublemint twins. This whole entire ad campaign with two pretty girls who are twins. They're chewing gum. Well, here you get Marlene and Charlene. That joke was a little bit lamer to me. You know, my name's Marlene, I'm Charlene. But still, the fact that I thought it was a good throwback to that stuff. And then we go back to, is the ship Spaceball 1? Spaceball City is where Scroob is, and the ship's Spaceball 1, right?
I think so.
So go back to Spaceball 1, and then we find out about assholes. Dude, why is the white helmets? Like, everybody's got these white helmets. Like, the uniform is ridiculous. But there's a guy called, what is he, Major Asshole?
Yep.
And, like, he's related to everybody, and there's a whole asshole joke, and it's just...
How many, was it something like, how many of you are assholes? And, like, over half people raise their hands, because say they're all family.
Surrounded by assholes. You got to give me Paul, that whole... They get the interaction between John Candy and Bill Pullman, Lone Star, and Barf. Like, you would think, if this was actually a real-world deal, a ridiculous real world, that these two would be best friends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They had extremely good chemistry. And that's why I kind of wrote this down. The chemistry, not only is the acting great and the script is great, and you can have all that, but if you don't feel chemistry between two characters, it's kind of shitty and boring, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel the chemistry was...
It was natural. Everything between them flowed so easily. And now I don't know if it's just their personalities, like in real life, how John Candy can just kind of...
He seems like a fun...
morph into whatever's needed.
Fun everyday type guy.
I mean, he was basically dog-style Uncle Buck in this. Basically, just give him a cigar. Yeah,
and then even Home Alone, the guy from the van, he was just kind of like a normal dude. Then, of course, we get the famous radar jam. They got to save the princess.
What's wrong with the radar? It's jammed. And you see jam just pouring out.
Yeah, because they got to stop, make sure. He's like, as soon as we get in, they'll see us. Well, not if we jam their radar. And there's, what is this, like a 60-foot fucking jar of fucking Smuckers just smashes the fuck. And then
it smashes into the little, like,
satellite dish.
Yeah.
Because that's, satellite dishes are.
And then he licks his finger. It's raspberry.
Nobody dares give me the raspberry. There's only one man with the balls to give me the raspberry.
Lone Star.
Yeah, so, and then the camera zooms in, it smashes right into Dark Helmet.
Yes.
I forgot completely about that happening.
This movie, well, most of Mel Brooks' movies, but this one in particular, it did breaking the fourth wall and meta so far before anybody else.
You don't get, I don't know if Deadpool gets.
I mean, we'll talk about it again later with the film crew I said about.
Yeah. There's a couple things, yeah.
But it's so subtle, but it's so perfectly done.
I love it. I fucking love it. I tell you what, they don't love though. You said, the physics, so we get Barf breathing in space, but fucking luggage, man.
The luggage.
The luggage. Poor Barf is climbing up this ladder with all this damn luggage.
It's her matching luggage.
Yeah. Then you get Barf's tail, it's got a mind of its own. You kind of there, even way before, even mentions it later on.
I wish you would have done a little bit more with that. I think that could have been a really, really funny plot point.
Yeah, maybe they didn't want to go to the well too often. And that's the thing about this. You don't get too many jokes that go to the well like over and over and over again.
True.
Like once the joke's done, move on. Well, let's get another joke in there.
And maybe that's why these work so well. It leaves you wanting more.
And we know Mel Brooks is Jewish. Okay. So we get some Drewish print. Well, that's funny enough. She doesn't look Drewish.
and I just, John Candy just sits there staring at the camera for a second. Like,
so natural the way, just funny enough. Yeah. And of course you start getting the barbs back and forth between Lone Star and Princess Vespa. And they have that instant, ooh, hey, well, hello. I don't like you, but I like you. But I'm not going to admit it.
Yep.
Because you're mean and I'm mean and,
We'll have some awkward chemistry.
Don't you wish your car had secret hyperjets? Not just regular hyperjets, but secret hyperjets.
Doesn't everybody?
Yes, they go hyperactive. I think they're just like throwing words out here.
Yeah,
they go hyperactive, just like my toddler.
We need to go ludicrous speed.
Yeah, because they got to catch up. So the whole I can't even talk. I wanted to talk about it at length, but I don't think we should talk. I don't want to ruin. I mean, I guess we've ruined half the movie now.
We have.
Yeah, we have. Well, fuck it. Ludicrous speed. Okay. They go so fast, they go plaid. Again, it's one of my favorite parts. And you're at some point, you're going to say, what's your favorite part of the movie? It's ludicrous speed. That is my favorite part of the movie.
I forgot I remember the ludicrous speed. I remember flying, not buckling up. I forgot about they went plaid.
We can't slow down.
Bullshit.
He goes flying. Oh. And did you know spaceships can run out of gas in space?
Right.
What? They have to crash land.
Well, and I love how they didn't drift. No, they stopped.
They're not even in orbit, but somehow they're going to crash land on a planet because they ran out of gas.
They probably got out and pushed.
Oh my god. The physics. Yes, the physics. I knew you were going to bring up physics in this thing but that's you don't give a shit. Like you notice it.
Well, I mean, even in Star Wars, they never really make a point about the vacuum of space ever.
Star Wars is not that technical.
They have their force field for the landing bay, but they never address it or anything like that. And they took that to a whole nother level here.
Yeah. Again, fucking luggage.
The luggage.
The fucking luggage again. That hairdryer.
Oh my word. You want it? You carry it.
That thing was huge. Oh man. But I love that even after they throw it out, they still are carrying the luggage. Oh, it's much later now.
He's all right, carry 3 of these.
So they want to find out where they went, and we get another fourth wall break in a way. We get my second favorite scene, which is very much tied for my favorite scene. What happens with this VHS tape?
Well, so Dark Helmet. They want to know where's Lone Star. How do we track him? And Colonel Sanders like, well, let's just check the movie or check the tape. So he pulls out, and I love it because he's going through the little cabinet. You see all these movie types.
They're all Mel Brooks movies.
Yes. And then he pulls out Spaceballs they had to have
did a quick mock-up of a box cover
of what it was going to be, because I'm pretty sure that was the original box cover.
It probably was. I don't know.
And they put it in and they're watching it. It's the beginning.
Well, he's like, how did you get this? And he's like, oh, it's a new technology. We get the movie to come out before the movie comes out. We make the movie before it comes out.
He's like, you can get the movie before we're done filming it.
Yeah, it's instant release.
And they fast forward and, well, when did this happen?
Then.
Well, what's this? Now.
Yeah, it's
it reminded me of like that exchange with what was it, Leslie Nielsen, the doctor, when they're like, now, then, now.
What happened then? Well, that happened just now. When? Then? When? Now? And then you just see Rick, the look on his face of confusion and sadness, and he's just like lost. He plays it off so well, like his character's so insecure and so lost in the moment. And he kind of like looks towards the camera. He's like, "Don't ever play this ever again."
The scene of ludicrous speed.
Yeah,
he's like, "What? That should never ever play that again."
They're fast forwarding. I love because fast forwarding back then, like you would see the blurriness on the screen, like in the middle. You have that little blurry, that like
that distortion. Yeah,
like you're watching like Cinemax and you weren't supposed to be. That
the fuzzy channels.
Yeah. So they find out, oh, they're on Druidia, the desert planet, because obviously the movie tells you that's. They couldn't watch the end of the movie to find out what not to do, but that's okay.
Then we get an almost kiss between Lone Star and Vespa.
Yeah,
while they're sitting around the campfire, reminiscing.
Puts his leather jacket on her because she's cold.
We finally got leather jacket.
Yes, yeah, this is a leather jacket, baby.
We can end the podcast. Life completed.
The Virgin alarm goes off.
Oh, jeez. Poor Barf wakes up. What is that? And then she's like, where did he touch you? We see them walking through the desert. What is it? Water. And then Vespa's like, room service.
Tom Matrix is like, oil.
And then the very next scene, they're carrying them.
Ding, 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 ding.
Were they trying to make a play at the original Parent Trap movie? Because that was the same song they were whistling when they were walking the girls up to the isolated cabin up in the woods. Not the Lindsay Lohan one, the older.
Yeah, I've seen the original, yeah. It's been
I'm positive that was the same tune. The Jawa things were.
Well, these are ding dinks, but yeah.
Sorry, the ding dinks were whistling.
I mean, maybe. I didn't see it in my behind the scenes trivia.
I'm going to go ahead and say that it is.
Yeah,
I feel super confident.
Oh, it probably is. I mean, that was what, like late 70s, the very first Parent Trap?
Oh, it's definitely before this.
Yeah, for sure. Safari helmet. So
oh my word.
So Dark Helmet switches out his helmet for a giant safari helmet.
A giant safari helmet with eye holes cut out of it. Oh, wait a minute. More than that, there's a little hatch that he can open up to talk out of.
Yes. I think they're going to zoom off. And he's like, you want to sit down? He's like, don't tell me what to do. And he doesn't listen to him. And then he like falls over because Dark Helmet does what he wants.
Do you think we're taking him too literally? Because President Scrooge says, comb the desert. So they're out there with combs, and we get to one of my favorite scenes. Did you find anything? Nothing, sir. What about you? No, sir. And then he gets to the little afro pick combing. Did you find anything? We ain't found shit.
Who plays Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you skipped the whole entire merchandising scene.
Oh, I thought that was
nope
after this.
Nope.
All right, we'll talk about it again.
Yeah, because the Ding Dinks take him to find yogurt. They go down and they see yogurt, and he shows them all the merchandising from Spaceballs. And he's like, hopefully there's a Spaceball 2 to search for more money. But and that's the funny joke because...
And that's Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks doesn't do sequels. He does not.
But it was everything from t-shirts to like coffee cups and...
Yeah, flamethrowers. There is an actual...
For children, it said.
Somebody has the flamethrower, like a mock version of it. And a lot of these, I guess, were Transformers toys and merchandising redone. And Mel Brooks did say that a while back that he did or does have the yogurt doll. He does have that, which is really cool because, you pull it. And
that's great.
And we also go back to Spaceballs 1. We see Scrooge in the sheets with the twins.
Real quick, do you think he made such a point about merchandising in this movie as a joke because George Lucas said no?
Yes.
Because later on, you see like a placemat in the diner that says Spaceballs placemat.
Oh, there's Spaceballs toilet paper. There's Spaceballs toilet paper.
Well, in the very next scene you just said about when you see Scrooge in bed with the twins, it says Spaceballs the blanket or the sheet.
The sheet, yeah. I haven't wrote down Spaceballs the sheet. It's Spaceballs everywhere. I think that is the running joke through the entire movie. And it's
all about money.
Money. Yes. Well, I mean...
It's funny because that's pretty much what the studios were seeing when it came to more Star Wars is we can make more money off this.
Yes, for sure.
When did the third Star Wars come out? Was it after this?
1983.
So all three of them were done before this movie even came out, the original trilogy.
Yeah, I was born in the Year of the Jedi.
The Year of the Jedi?
Return of the Jedi, yeah. Yeah, everybody's got to know their movie from when they're born. And mine was Return of the Jedi. It was the #1 movie of the year. So...
I wonder what mine was.
We'll have to look into it. So they find out where they're at and they need to get Vespa out of there. Now they can't just go down in there Stormtrooper style because Yogurt has the upside of the Force and Dark Helmet has the downside of the Force.
Instead of the light and dark.
Yeah. So he magically turns himself into a mirage, a vision of Vespa's daddy. And she obviously, it's definitely true, goes out there and he kidnaps her.
I like how when he turns back into Dark Helmet, she screams and then passes out.
Right? Just drops like a sack of potatoes. And you need to never underestimate the power of the Schwartz. So we found that that's kind of like the power here. And even, I guess before that, even I got a little jumbled up here. You got Lone Star training with the Schwartz. There's a massive statue of Yogurt, like this huge statue. He gets it off the ground like the X-Wing scene.
Yep.
And Barf walks in and goes, oh, you're doing it. And it drops on his foot. And it's a pancake foot. He gets it out of there. And
he walks away. It's like this giant flat foot, like a flipper.
But then we go back to one of my other favorite scenes. We find Lord Helmet playing with some dolls, which they made to look like everybody in the movie, which is really awesome how they, and it did look like Star Wars toys. It honestly did.
But Barf even has his tail.
Yeah.
It looked really good. I wonder what happened to those.
Oh, I don't know.
An actor probably took them.
Oh, probably sitting in
Rick Moranis' living room.
Yeah. I guess, like I said earlier, he was super sick. He had a fever doing this scene. He said it wasn't his greatest acting, but I'm telling you, man, I thought he fucking killed it. That is one of my, it's got to be one of the best scenes in the movie.
Did you see anything?
I definitely didn't see you playing with your dolls, sir. And he's like, oh, when he's playing with the dolls, and he's got a Vespa. Oh, but no, I don't want to. Yes, you do. No, I don't want to. Oh, but your helmet's so big. He just roughed on. Because it looks like a dick.
It does, yeah. If you ever take just a second and look at his costume, it's like this weird spandex and
yeah. What was going on with like his crotchal area of like the weird puffy? It's like Romeo and Juliet Renaissance, but it's all like spray painted black or something.
And it's made to look like he has a tie.
Yeah, the tie. I did notice the tie this time. I don't think I ever remembered the tie before. And then you get the toilet paper, Star Wars toilet paper. Now every time this lady pops up on the screen, she's always kind of looking at Scrooge like she wants a piece. Like she even like glances down like, oh, what are you working with down there? And why is there a view screen right at the urinal?
I told you never to call me on this wall.
So they've got Vespa and they're going to, they're like, hey, we got your daughter. Give us your heir. We want the combination or we're going to give her original nose back.
Pre-nose job.
What's like the Wicked Witch of the West?
So basically, either you kill your entire planet or she gets a bad plastic surgery.
Well, goodbye, planet. And what is the combination to this?
1, 2, 3.
I like how Sanders is just writing this down. Like
4, 5.
He's like so into it. He's like, ugh.
And I love when they tell Scrooge, he's like, I had the same combination on my luggage.
Even Dark Helmet's like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of. Like, even he thinks it's fucking stupid.
Well, and then if you catch it when they're walking out, he's like, all right, it's Scrooge. He's like, let's go. And he's like, and somebody changed the combination on my luggage.
Yeah. And then, of course, the nurse and the plastic surgeon in there, and they're like, well, you can go now and just go play your golf. And he's like, I'm still going to charge you for this. And he's like, I bet you she gives good helmet.
Yep. Oh, definitely a joke I didn't get as a kid.
I didn't either. No. Yeah.
Again, because the helmet looks like
a dick. So we get another big Star Wars ripoff here where John, Barf and Lone Star are going to show up. They need to rescue the princess. She's sitting in there singing, nobody knows the trouble I see. And often in my life I've sang that, and it's all because of Spaceballs. Like sometimes when I'm just bored, I'll just sing that little bit. I'm not shitting you. Ask Emily. She's probably walked into me in the kitchen, be doing dishes, singing, nobody knows.
That's great.
Like, it's just all Star Wars. That's always been in my head ever since I was like 7 or 8. The first time I saw this. It's just, I was like, man, she got a deep voice. It doesn't, John Candy in Barf is like, oh, she's a soprano or not soprano. What's the deep one? Soprano's when you're high. Alto. I don't know.
Baritone. Something like that.
Yeah. I'm not a musical person. Like
he cracks a joke. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
And I love to first off, to get in to the space station after they land in the no parking zone.
Yes. You can't park that here.
Barf leans out, flips them off, and then they're like, oh no, you can't do that. And they come running up. It's like what? 2 seconds. You hear bam, they beat them up and they come out and
you see the Winnebago shaking. Because they're beating the shit out of them. The entire Winnebago is shaking. When
they come out and they're walking away from the camera going into the space station, that's when I first noticed the butt pads.
Yeah, they go in there, they get Dot and Vespa, and they get cornered in a hallway. They're getting shot at left and right. Mog has an idea. And I could have swore in my head there was like a garbage scene, but I guess they didn't parody that from Star Wars. But he has this idea. He grabs this big giant 4 or 5 tube deal that's 90 degree. So one at a time, all these troopers shoot all in a line, and they all 1, 2, 3 go into the tubes, and 1, 2, 3, 4 just come right back out of the tubes, fly back at them. You can see guys when they get shot in the chest. I'm pretty sure they had to have been standing on a trampoline because this dude does like a massive backflip. Like out of nowhere. Do you not notice the acrobatic backflips?
Yeah, now that you mention it, yes.
There's one where in the next, when they do escape and what happens with her hair.
My word. Princess Vespa, she doesn't believe in guns.
She's like holding it like a dead fish.
And then someone shoots and it skims her hair. he just shot my hair. And then she like Rambo mows them all down.
And they even make a joke about Rambo.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, she shoots a guy, I think, on the
left. Not bad for a girl. Not bad for Rambo.
There's a dude that's kind of to the left of the main doors that she shoots. And I'm telling you, that backflip that this guy does is ridiculous. I was like, what? What was that? Yeah, a Rambo reference back. I mean, come on. No reference, no property, nothing is out of bounds in this movie.
No.
But what's nice, though, is now, did Deadpool and Wolverine kill it with their 116 to 118 F-bombs? But this is not, like, dirty. Like, I could watch this as a kid. You can let your, 10-year-olds watch this movie. Like, it's fine.
They drop one F-bomb.
I think they do. I don't remember where it's at, though.
It's right after they find the self-destruct button is broken or out of order.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So they get her out of there. There's a sign that's there. It says, conserve air, breathe less.
Yep.
I never noticed until this rewatch. Breathe less. I want to tell people to do that sometimes. Just breathe.
When did
less.
Judge Dredd come out? The first one.
90 something, 95,
okay.
94.
For some reason I was just now thinking maybe that was a play off of that when it says like eat recycled.
No. Ew. Eat recycled. So now we're going to find out that we need a metamorphosis to happen to get the air. Like, how are you going to get, they're like, oh, how are they going to get the air out of the planet? Like, what are they going to do? So what happens, Josh? How is the Spaceballs community going to steal this air?
Well, the ship, it's changing. And after all this very long transformation scene.
They even called it a transformer.
They did. They said it was a transformer of a giant maid.
With a vacuum.
You see the head come up, and it literally looks like a giant maid holding a vacuum with a power switch and everything.
Well, I appreciate that it looks like Lady Liberty.
Yes. They position it right over the
yeah, apparently this planet,
the air gate.
You can only go in and out one way. There's only one door. Like, there's no other way on
Which is kind of funny, because they kind of used that idea in Rogue One later.
Yeah, do they? Okay. Well,
did you watch?
I don't remember much.
The only way onto the planet in Rogue One was through this gate. Like, they had a force field around the planet.
George Lucas bringing it back. Well, I guess it wasn't him. It was somebody else. But so they put the vacuum, the old Hoover.
They turn on the Hoover, and you got Sanders and Dark Helmet and Scroob in there. Suck.
And I appreciate that as they're doing this, the vacuum is like a really, really old vacuum.
Yes.
It has the giant bag. It's not like your sharks that we have now in these crazy.
Well, that was
Daredevils.
modern back then.
Yeah, that's when I grew up. We didn't have, like, I had to change bags in the vacuum.
Dude, when I grew up, we had
I'm sorry.
bags.
Wait a minute. Where are we here? Hold on. I did change a bag in the sweeper.
Yes. Ours was this big unit with wheels, a long hose.
Oh, okay.
And then you had the actual vacuum piece. So think shot vac, but significantly smaller.
Yes. Well, and heavy as shit, those were.
Oh, yeah, they were insane.
And if anybody doesn't understand the reference who's not from Pennsylvania or central Pennsylvania area, and this threw me off majorly when I moved here, somebody told me to go sweep the floor. And I was like, all right, like I'm looking at the linoleum, which is not even linoleum anymore. But I'm looking at, the hardwood or the kitchen area anyway. And I was like, okay, where's your broom? I'm like, what? I said, you want me to sweep the floor? Where's the broom? And they're like, no, get the vacuum, or no, go get the sweeper and sweep the carpet. And I said, what? You mean get the vacuum and vacuum the carpet? And I've been fighting with people ever since that it's a vacuum, not a sweeper.
Were you ever told to like clean up your room, but it was go rat up your room?
No, I grew up as a kid in Michigan. It was clean, my room. Though my mom, if you had Christmas lights on your house, they were on the roof, not on the roof. They're up on the roof.
That's when I went to college. I was near Philadelphia. And my friend Trish, she always said wooder.
Wooder.
Not
wooder.
water. It's
Wooder.
wooder.
Emily sort of did it when we first got together because she's from that area.
And warsh.
But she has dropped it off, which is good. She doesn't say wooder.
She was faking.
But when we visit her aunts over in Westchester area, they say wooder.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got the Molly maid doing its deal.
Sucking.
Well, there's a self-destruct button.
Well, there's only one thing left to do, though. Use the Schwartz to stop the planet from running out of air.
So there's a giant switch that has on, off, and what's the middle one? Just stop?
It was on, off, reverse.
Reverse, okay. Yeah. So, of course, he gets the ring out, Lone Star does, that Yoger gives him, and he uses the Schwartz, and he turns it off. But they need to, like, destroy the thing, and obviously they need to find the self-destruct button that was built into it, for sure. And,
they even say that, like, oh, it has to have it.
yeah. And that reminds me of Galaxy Quest, where there just has to be, like, a self-destruct button. But how are they going to get in there? They got to fly through the air, right?
Well, it's because they even said it's got to be near the brain.
The central nervous system, maybe? Yeah, so they decide we're going to fly the Winnebago up in there. And what you had said something about what, infrared?
The scene where they're flying in, and it's a little exchange between Lone Star and Barf. And I thought it was hilarious because he's like, dim the lights. And of course, Barf, dimming the lights, go to infrared. Going to infrared.
He has the little goggle things come down.
And he's like, pray to God. Praying to God.
So yeah, they pray to God. Lone Star's like, I'm going to go down there and do this. He uses the ladder, he gets out. He comes up behind this guard. Again, in technically the vacuum of space. Yeah. Comes up behind this guard who's just chilling in the vacuum of space, I guess. And he goes to give him, he grabs him and he goes, what are you doing? And he goes, Vulcan neck pinch? He's like, no, you're doing it all wrong. You gotta do it like this. And he moves his hand up for him. And then he goes like this. Yeah. Then he just drops. So he had another Star Trek reference. Well, I guess Tim Russ wasn't on Star Trek yet, but still technically 3 Star Trek things, time travel. And then he goes in there where it's a locker room.
Yep.
So it's a locker room, but behind it, it's like bars, but the bars are energy beams. But there's like a shitter, there's a sink, there's shaving cream. Why is the self-destruct button in the locker room?
I don't know.
That I never quite understood.
And then he sprays the guy in the face with shaving cream.
Yes.
I know that you probably had it timed not to get it in your eyes, but that's still risky shit right there.
Yeah.
Like,
what is that, Barbasol? Like old school Barbasol. And then
just to go with the brute.
So he's gonna go hit the button, but wait, who shows up?
Dark Helmet.
Dun dun dun. Well, we gotta have a battle, right?
Of course. And he whips out his ring and his, I guess, lightsaber.
They hold it by their crotch with the rings. It pops out. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. We forgot that way earlier in the movie that Dark Helmet loves to shoot the Schwartz into people's crotches. Whenever everybody's the whole entire crew, when they think you're going to get in trouble, holds onto their dicks. Like, oh my God, we're going to get shot in the crotch.
And I love it because in Star Wars, Vader chokes them. So is Dark Helmet choking their lower half?
I don't know. Like, the first guy that he does it to, he goes, oh no, you're not going to do that. And he like grabs his neck like he's going to get choked. And he goes, no, I'm going to do something worse. Shoots him in the fucking dick. Yeah, so they do the battle. And what happens during this battle? Explain this battle to the viewers. Or what happens during this battle?
So we get your Schwartz is as big as mine. Now let's see if you can handle it. They have the classic lightsaber battle. And at one point, they basically miss. I forget who it actually was.
Well, they get twisted. Their shit gets twisted.
Well, yeah, the lightsabers get twisted up at one point. They have to like, oh, well, put your foot up here and pull to get popped apart. And then there's a part where they...
Well, that's when they get bursted apart, and I think that's what happens, isn't it?
No, that happened after the event that we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I forget exactly how it happened, but basically he gets like shoved aside and they kill a film crew member.
He like hits him, he slices him.
Like the camera pans over, following them fighting, and you see part of the film crew of the set, guy gets cut in half basically, and then sorry, and they just go right back to it.
And then they get twisted.
And there's a point where he takes his ring.
Yeah, and he's like, you're as good as dumb. He like falls for it to like, he like takes the ring off his hand.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, you fell for the oldest trick in the book. He goes, oh, that's okay. I understand. He's like, oh, here's to you. And then he goes to shake his hand. And he's like, you fell for it again. And
he like throws it down the little drain.
Yeah.
The random like sewer drain.
And Yoger's like, use the Schwartz. He's like, I can't. I don't have the ring. He's like, don't worry about it. I found it in a Cracker Jack box.
It's inside of you the whole time.
So he ends up winning against Dark Helmet.
And of course, the self-destruct button gets pressed.
by the helmet. He
By
gets
the helmet.
flung into it. Well, he gets like knocked out in a way and he falls backwards into it. And that,
Yeah.
either way, his helmet hits it. So then it's like, oh, you have 3 minutes. The lovely voice is like, you got 3 minutes and you're all going to die. So everybody's got to evacuate. The circus people, like everybody is trying to get off this. They're playing the song in the background, the Spaceballs song. You know,
everybody's trying to get into an escape pod.
Yeah, there's so many people in this massive ship. There's like 15 escape pods and that's it. But somehow everybody but 3 people get off.
The bear got off.
Yes.
The bearded lady got off.
And what was the drums?
The timpani player got off. And I love when Sanders jumps into the last pod and he's trying to buckle up and here's the bear. He's trying to pull his arms around him.
He throws him off. And then everybody like flips him off.
Yeah,
everybody. They eject. Yeah, so this thing's going to blow up. They get out in the nick of time. They come flying out of the ear. Shit explodes. The head goes flying. There's pieces everywhere. We switch over. They take Princess Vespa back.
Yep.
And they pretty much just drop her off. They're like, okay, well, deuce. We're out. See you later. Now, I guess we forgot that at some point, Yogurt had given Lone Star a magic fortune cookie. Magic fortune cookie. Because he's got this medallion on. He doesn't know, it's like this ancient language. And he's like, doing this crazy.
You can read it?
He's like, no, I was just clearing my throat. He's doing, it sounds like a Jewish thing is what they're doing with the joke.
Absolutely.
And,
if you actually look at it,
and I am not going to parody that.
It basically looks like someone just held shift and just started hitting random numbers, putting symbols up there.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like there was a percent sign.
He's like, I don't know what it means, So he sends him off. So they drop her off. And then they find out that something's happened to our favorite pizza guy.
In other news, Pizza the Hut was found dead after he was locked in his own vehicle and ate himself to death.
Yes, he ate himself to death, and that's I can't.
You're turning red.
Oh my god! Yeah, so they don't gotta spend the money, or give the money back. They got all this money. And then they make the joke about Rocky 5, or like, he ate himself to death. Now in other news, Rocky 5,000, the review. And then they go to the diner, and what happens at the diner?
Well, they go into the diner, they sit down. Lone Star orders the soup. Barf gets the special. And then we see at the end of the bar, John Hurt and some other astronauts.
And meanwhile,
chatting.
Barf's tail is hitting the waitress in the ass.
Yes. Sorry, it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And then, of course, John Hurt stands up, starts gagging, falls backwards onto the table. A lot like the movie Alien. And then a chest burster comes out.
He like looks up, he's like, not again.
And then the alien sings with the top hat and cane across the bar.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my Clement.
Like, what was that? The frog from CW or whatever. And of course, I love it because Barf's like, what did he eat? And she's like, the special. He's like, that's what I got. Give me the soup. And we find out they didn't take the $1 million, the million Starbucks.
Yeah, they didn't take it. Yeah, because Vespa's mad because she's got to marry this fucking dude again. Prince Valium, who's always tired. I wonder if Starbucks was a playoff of Battlestar Galactica. Starbuck. Maybe.
Because the original was in the 70s.
Yeah. It was like right after Star Wars.
I'm going to pretend it was, just because why not at this point?
Yeah. Now they need to go. Oh, so the diner shit happens. And then he's like, well, I'm going to open up this fortune cookie. Finds out, we translated everything. You're a prince. That's what it is. So they have a can of liquid Schwartz that they pour into the emergency gas deal. Like that's right in between the two seats on the floorboard.
Back.
Yeah. So they fly back to Druidia. He interrupts the ceremony. He's like, I'm a honest to God prince, or whatever he's, and this, the reverend, the priest.
I don't care who, but I am marrying somebody.
Yeah. So they decide,
he's like, all right, we're going to do this quick. Do you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you?
Yes.
You're married. Kiss her.
And after all that, you see the head from Spaceball 1 land at the beach. Some horses are rolling up with some riders. And what's on them?
Full-blown Planet of the Apes reference.
Did they just get the costumes from Planet of the Apes?
They looked real, yeah.
The mouth didn't move as good as the movies, but still.
No. But I mean, because you got the head from the maid
Spaceballs.
that looks like Lady Liberty's head, and then you have the arm sticking up that was holding the vacuum right next to it. So it looks like the end of Planet of the Apes.
Damn you all to hell.
And they're like, I think there's what's from Spaceballs.
Oh my God, what's coming out of its nose?
And the one's like, there goes the planet.
Yeah. And then roll credits.
Absolutely fantastic movie. Don't wait for an end credit scene.
No, there is none.
Wasn't around yet. Absolutely amazing movie. That wraps up the movie Spaceballs, but our journey, ladies and gentlemen, is far from over. Michael, do you have any fun behind the scenes fun facts or trivia or anything like that?
This movie was originally called Planet Moron.
Interesting.
We already talked about Mel Brooks and the no merchandising thing. We talked about stuff being repurposed Transformers stuff. So there was a novel version of this written by none other than R.L. Stine.
That feels very out of place.
Yeah. I read that it was a little bit darker than the movie, but I mean, it is R.L. Stine.
I kind of want to get a hold of it now and read it.
And I talked a lot about Tom Hanks earlier, but I guess he was the other choice by the studio to play Lone Star, other than Tom Cruise. Which that didn't happen.
So I wonder how Bill Pullman actually got into the role then.
I read it somewhere and I don't remember.
Okay, fair enough. So I also have something about the title. Apparently he ended up choosing Spaceballs because he felt that balls was just inherently funny, especially when paired with space. There you go. That's Mel Brooks. I mean,
Simple,
what more do you need?
Effective.
Apparently Rick Moranis had a heck of a time with the giant helmet. Like, it would actually throw him off balance. So a lot of his stumbling and smacking into things, a lot of that was completely unintentional.
When they first made it, the original concept of it was supposed to be a massive, huge, all the way down to the floor. Yeah, they scaled it down from how big it was supposed to be.
Well, and apparently quite a few of Rick Moranis' lines were all improv.
He's a funny dude, man.
I guess the one that really stood out was I see your Schwartz is as big as mine was completely him.
Your Schwartz is as big as mine.
It's Rick Moranis. So it just brought his own personality to that character. I just think it's hysterical. I do have not really trivia, but it does say here that Mel Brooks has said in interviews that working on Spaceballs was one of the most enjoyable experiences of his entire career. The cast had a great time filming, and the positive energy translated into humor and the tone of the movie. I feel like you can absolutely see that.
Yeah, I can go with that. I mean, it's hard to tell this day and age because of all the special effects everywhere, but you can tell chemistry. It's all about the chemistry, man.
You can tell when it's forced or, as we've said before, phoned in. Like, this was, you could tell they looked forward to going on set every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, in the scene when they're parked at the diner at the end, if you look closely, the Millennium Falcon is actually parked in that parking lot.
Yes, and I completely forgot about that. I was going to look for it, and I didn't.
No, I was too focused on the two little people walking out in, again, the vacuum of space.
Yes. The vacuum of space is a theory, okay? And,
my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
If the Earth is flat and I step off of it, obviously I can still breathe.
Oh, okay.
You serious?
Yeah.
We can't be partners anymore. Apparently, this was Bill Pullman's first real role. Like, he was more or less a nobody.
He's a baby.
And this was the movie that kind of launched his career. Like, this put him into the spotlight. People saw him. They wanted him. And, I mean, later, again, he'd go on to become president in Independence Day. So.
I voted for the other guy.
The other guy.
Did you know that in 2018 in Toronto, they were doing some work around and they found a billboard and it said Spaceballs on it, and they kept it up for a while. It eventually got covered back up, but it looks really, you can look online and see the images of this and how weathered it was and how, time just.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got one more Star Trek one for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Spaceballs was shot in many locations, including the Vasquez Rocks in California.
Oh yeah.
Which was a fairly popular recording place for a lot of Star Trek, the original series.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we have the
Isn't
Gorn.
Isn't that where he fought the Gorn?
I think that's where he fought the Gorn, yeah.
The closing credits song, Spaceballs, was performed by a band known as The Spinners, a funky, upbeat tune contrasted with the epic orchestral music often found in sci-fi films.
It's a great song.
It is, though. It really is.
Did you know this was filmed at the same place they did The Wizard of Oz? The same soundstage?
I did not.
Apparently, like, during filming, there would be people just wandering around waiting for takes and stuff, and they would just find little pieces of, like, the brick road and, you know, like, pieces of set from the Oz.
Well, did you catch the nod to The Wizard of Oz? When they first go into Yogurt's lair and he's like,
what a world! What a world!
Well, he does, like, the whole wizard behind the curtain thing, like, who dares enter? And then he comes out. That was absolutely Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Well, he did, and in the Winnebago, he's like, oh, what a world. He's like, oh.
Yeah. And it takes him forever to fade away.
Yes. Classic, man. This movie is a classic. And apparently, according to Wikipedia, it is a cult classic.
Yes.
It has a cult following, it says.
Apparently, there were quite a few scenes that were scripted and filmed, but never actually made it into the movie. I guess there was an extended chase scene, and there was some more dialogue between some of the minor characters. I feel like that could have been interesting.
I'd like to see an extended director's crazy cut of this. Well, because I guess it was Mel Brooks' most expensive movie that he's ever produced.
Wow.
I mean, you got some huge set pieces and stuff on here. So,
and I mean, you got to think for '87, that was a lot of special effects.
Yes. Well, and I give credit to the fact, and this is what pisses me off. Like, there's movies that come out today that look like shit. And you have Spaceballs that looks better than some of the stuff that comes out today.
It looks dated, but it looks good.
It does look good. That ship, that model of the ship is amazing. I mean, the same guy did the stuff for Star Trek and some other things.
You mean the one that never ends?
Yes, the never-ending ship. So I guess there was a sequel to this of sorts. There was a really bad in 2008. They did a cartoon. I didn't watch it. I didn't really know about it till during the research for this. Apparently everybody hated it. But Rick Moranis did reprise his voice of Dark Helmet for a Goldbergs episode. And I've never watched the Goldbergs, but I heard it's entertaining. Everybody always apparently.
That's interesting.
Freddy Krueger showed up for the Goldbergs too. So
well, that's interesting to me because I know like Rick Moranis left Hollywood to focus on his family.
Yeah, he was gone for a minute.
Well, and he wouldn't come back for anything. Like he left. This is family time. So I wonder if that was towards like because he's still not really in Hollywood anymore.
No, he showed up. Did he show up in the Ghostbusters for a second? I don't know. Michael Winslow, the guy did all the voices. I guess because of his voices, it saved him thousands of dollars in audio for sound effects. That I mean, this is what
more than just the scene of him goofing around. He actually did some of the effects.
I just know it says Michael Winslow's cameo saved over $1,000 in production costs. He's able to help the team by doing what he does best, making weird noises while playing the role of the radar tech. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it says here Rick Moranis left Hollywood shortly after the death of his wife to raise his children.
Yeah, he was gone for quite a while.
That's such a shame.
So I guess they were looking for somebody like Steve Martin to play Colonel Sanders, which obviously didn't happen, but
yeah.
Would have been interesting to see. Steve Martin's he's a different type of humor at times. I think he's funny, but then he's not. I did read that the ears for Barf, I guess they moved around more than what people wanted to move around, but he wore like a 40-pound pack on the back.
They're animatronic?
Yeah, because the technology back then was way different. So yeah, he had this huge battery deal on his back so that his ears and stuff could move.
Well, that reminds me too. I do remember.
It's a trooper to do that.
Oh yeah, and I do remember reading too. It was his idea to make the tail remote controlled and give it a mind of its own.
Well,
so
I mean,
That's another
Genius
mechanism.
Another genius move for sure.
And I'm sure he improv some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's the part of that whole SNL generation of early comedians.
Who would Adam Sandler be in this movie?
Who would Adam Sandler be? Would he be a dink? Oh. He would definitely be somebody on Spaceballs 1. He would be one of like the crew, like the radar tech type person. He would be one of those guys for sure. Just like a quick, here I am. You know, and we're talking about that. Like there is a planned sequel. They talked for years about doing it. You know, the joke about Search for More Money. Even Rick Moranis had an idea for something that the Mel Brooks didn't really care much for. Don't remember the specific details. I'm a horrible host. But they're actually getting, I guess, was that Josh Gad? He's very popular these days.
Voice of Olaf.
Yeah. Everybody always goes back to the Olaf thing. Yeah. I just saw, well, he has some werewolf show on right now with Isla Fisher that's on Apple. We watched like one episode and we're like,
Isla Fisher?
Is it Isla?
It's Isla.
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize, Isla Fisher. You're an amazing actress. And
I only know that because my niece, my wife's sister's daughter, is Isla. It's spelled exactly the same way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Island as an IS. You know, I thought Isla sounded good. It doesn't matter. The fact is they're making a sequel. How do you feel about that? I've gauged some other people's opinions and heat on that, and nobody wants it. How do you feel about it? Do you want a sequel to this? With Josh Gad?
That's a big solid no.
No, I don't think I do either.
I'm very firmly against that. This is like Mel Brooks was very firm about not doing sequels. Respect it. Don't give us a sequel. Don't give us a reboot or a remake.
I don't think it would make. No, I don't know.
I don't think it would go.
Emily didn't even want to rewatch this with me.
I think people would immediately see, oh, they're doing a reboot or a sequel, and there's absolutely no way it will ever live up to the original.
No, even if you got Bill Pullman, even if you got Moranis,
even if John Candy was still around and you got all the original cast, there's no way they'd be able to pull off that magic of the first time you watched this.
No, I don't think they would. And I hope it doesn't happen.
I agree. It'd be like redoing The Princess Bride.
I will come to your house. We'll get Liam Neeson from Taken.
I would love to know. You were telling me that, who was it? Someone said,
some actress,
if you ever remake this movie, I will destroy you.
I forgot that we didn't record that part. Yes, somebody did an interview, some actress, and said, do not fuck with The Princess Bride. She was very adamant. She said, I will get your address. I will find out where you live, and I will kill you. I will take you out.
I wonder if it's the woman who played Princess Buttercup.
It was not Robin Wright Penn.
Oh, okay.
No, it was not her. No, it wasn't anybody that I could see in there. But I mean, Andre the Giant, like you can't. There's things you just can't redo.
No.
And in this movie, you can't redo John Candy. Listen, there's a lot of
please don't do that AI recreation.
That's where I draw a lot of things I don't really give a shit about when it comes to them doing that. I'm like, whatever. You got to use the technology you have. But do not, like, because that's not, no. I
mean, they did it a little bit with Carrie Fisher at the end of Rogue One, and I get it.
I didn't care.
You had to connect the dots. I get it. Or they did it, I think, a little bit at the end of the one Star Wars movie she was in when she passed to finish it out. Okay, I get it.
Well, they even did it with Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Which.
Well, that.
Yeah,
yes. But I mean, he's still alive.
Yeah, but
bringing people back just for the sake of making money off of their image, I'm completely against that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So, what do you not like about this movie? We got to find the negative somewhere. What, as much as you love it, give me something you don't like about this movie. What, if you were a critic back in the day watching this, going, okay, all right, and you had to write a review, what would you throw out there that you're like, I just did not like that? I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to think.
I think there's a couple, not a lot, but there's a few jokes that probably didn't age well or they're not a good rewatchability. For instance, the barf foot. When it gets smashed, I didn't think it was that funny the first time I saw it, and I never really found that scene funny. There's a couple jokes, very, very minimal. In fact, I can't really think of it, but there's a couple times I was like, oh, that wasn't very funny. And maybe because I've seen them so many times. But then again, I see a ludicrous scene and I die. I see the fast forwarding scene and I die. But stuff like Barf's foot, like I don't think it's that funny. Or even Yoker, when he's like, like even things like that. Dick Van Patten, I don't think is like the most especially funny guy. You know, I got to put a negative note somewhere. I just think some of the jokes. But listen, if you have 300 jokes and 250 of them land, that's a pretty good percentage, right? That's pretty. Or 275 of them land. That's pretty damn
298.
good. Yeah. You're like 299, bitch. I forgot we didn't mention the stunt double part where they escape and it's the stunt doubles. You idiot. Because the one dude, I can't even, he plays the guy in Groundhog's Day, Ned, that's possibly the devil. And I'm pretty sure that's the same guy here that's playing Sanders, but it's not Sanders. He's like,
really?
Yeah, he's dressed like Sanders. Like he's the commander, like the warden of the space prison. But like, cool. Daphne, Vespa's stunt double. What does she have a mustache?
Yeah. Well, she looks exactly like Hitler.
Yeah.
Like she's got that tiny mustache. Like she looks like him.
Oh man.
Which is hysterical when you realize again that Mel Brooks is Jewish.
Yeah.
And did you know? Actually, I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I did find that Mel Brooks was he fought in World War II.
Right on.
So that man has been around the block.
Sure has. When I was watching the thing with the stunt doubles, I thought to myself, where did the people go? Like, how did they escape?
Right?
Because they just jump. Listen, when they're running at that door that's closing, there's no way they should have made that. Physics, like there's
yeah,
whatever. But they go through it into a room that's full of people. But where did they go? Another fourth wall break.
I mean, it's actually genuinely difficult because I really did enjoy the movie. I just can't think of anything specific that I would say I disliked.
Yeah, the set design's good. Chemistry's good, the cast is good, the script's good, music was good.
Yeah, everything moved along well.
I just a couple random jokes didn't, I think, land as well as they could have.
Yeah.
But you didn't have a problem with any of the cast at all. None, they all played their part good. Everybody. Even the bearded lady. Fucking
even the
it.
bearded lady, even Dot Matrix.
Even the voice of the countdown.
What happened to Seven? Just kidding.
I forgot about that for a second.
Oh, really?
Just count it. Yeah, then it's just we're going back and forth, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. When you're talking to your buddies, which is that's what this podcast is all about. You talk about your buddies, talk about a movie, a TV show, comic book, whatever, and then you just start pinging off of each other. You know, that's what I love.
If I had to pick something, and I have to pick something, it would probably be I didn't like the helmets or the costumes of the stormtrooper wannabes. I mean, I understand that they were supposed to be ridiculous. They were supposed to look like giant balls. I don't know. It felt overkill to me.
Okay.
But at the same time, it also felt completely, appropriate for where it is.
Yes. 100%.
And I forgot. I loved how when they would show the planet Spaceball, it would show a superimposed image of the top of our Capitol on top of it.
It even did the dun 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 dun. And you know what? I'm not getting into politics, but I'll say this. This movie is just so great for the time, specifically right now that we are having here in America with the ridiculous fucking nature that politics is right now. And I'll leave it there, but it's perfect for what's going on right now. I feel like for a second we are living in fucking Spaceballs. Just the straight up everyday ridiculousness, the headlines that you read, the interviews that you see, the sound bites, is just, you feel like you're living in a damn comedy, you know?
And, if you're going to get technical from the Spaceball citizens' point of view, Scroob isn't the bad guy here.
Why isn't he the bad guy? Why don't you explain to me why he's not the bad guy here?
He was trying to save all the lives on that planet. So if you live on that planet, are you just like, oh, well, our air's running out, too bad?
So he's not a bad guy for squandering.
Correct.
The air, though.
I mean,
he's not the only one breathing air. Everybody was breathing air.
Exactly.
Yeah, they should have did less.
He cracks open a can and breathes extra air, but I mean, hey.
Conserve your air and breathe less. Dairy air.
Dairy air, yeah.
Dude, how do you just instantly write that joke? How do you go, how could I make this? They have air cans of air. That's funny in itself, but how do I make this funnier? Did he think, was he at a Sheets and saw a can of Perrier? And just
He probably was like, I need to name this. Bottle of water sitting over there. Oh, Perrier. Ha, it'd be funny.
the ingenuity.
Like, he reminds me of the type that if it's just like, it'd be funny. Yeah, we're going to put that in now. What else you got?
Just taking it in.
Like when the lights come on, light speed, ridiculous speed, ludicrous speed.
I guess Tesla took the ridiculous speed stuff from there.
Yep.
So, the cultural impact that this movie has.
Well, like you said, we got breaking the fourth wall. We got
parody movies.
Like so many things. I feel comfortable saying probably branched out of
Bill Pullman, because
Mel Brooks in general.
Yeah. I think if this movie would have tanked, maybe we didn't get a couple after that or whatever, So
I'm pretty sure. I have it written down, like some of the major actors that he worked with, Mel Brooks worked with, and a lot of them were more or less nobodies before him. We have Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman, Cleveland Little, Peter Boyle, Bay Arthur. I never know how to pronounce
B.
it.
Arthur?
B-E-A.
B. Arthur
from Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman, of course. Carrie Yoles, Princess Bride.
Carrie Always.
Yoles.
Listen,
Candy.
I will totally be Ari right now if you.
But then we got John Candy, Rick Moranis, Joan Rivers, John Hurt, Dave Chappelle, Patrick Stewart. Granted, a lot of them.
Patrick Stewart,
a lot of them would have made their own way, but Dave Chappelle was just a nobody comedian trying to make a living, and then
definitely helped.
He gets dropped into Robin Hood Men in Tights as the blind buddy who's sitting there reading Braille porn on the toilet as the castle is being repossessed.
If we do a fantasy season, Men in Tights.
Oh, absolutely.
I think no matter what the theme of the season is, when we do our horror season, we're doing Young Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even though I don't watch horror movies, but I'm going to go see Alien Romulus.
I think what we should do for next year, and if you're listening, tell us if you think this is a good idea. We'll break the year into 4 parts. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, and 3 months.
You mean like the seasons?
Yes. So then we get, 6 episodes per 3 months. We'll do horror for 6 episodes. We'll do fantasy for 6 episodes. I don't know.
Want to sponsor us?
Just something to think about. That way people, they're not getting bored. Because, I don't know, are people getting bored with sci-fi?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Not a clue.
But
I
don't
got
really
bored with Judge Dredd, apparently.
I don't have a whole lot more to say about Spaceballs other than if you're just now tuning in because you had to skip to the end because you haven't seen it, go watch this movie. It is by far one of the best movies of the 80s and 90s.
I will put it in my top 150 funniest movies of all time.
I want to see that list.
Yeah, can it beat Dumb and Dumber? No. But it's still funny as shit. Dumb and Dumber is probably it's top 10.
You sold a blind kid my bird?
I'm sorry. You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow. The town's back that way. Hawaiian Tropic Girls. This has been an adventure, but I think we're ready to put the train back in the station, even though it's...
Or the Winnebago.
Yeah, we're going to put the Winnebago back in the garage. We've got to fold up the wings like we're in Top Gun. That's what the planes do.
I know. Like you said, we're going to go and wrap this up. So if you enjoyed what you heard, let us know. Reach out to us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Most active on Instagram. That's going to be your best way to get a response from us pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We actually both have it on our... It goes to both our phones. It's to the point where Michael pretty much uses that as his personal Instagram
today
now.
I got on my own Instagram, but yes, it's...
Yeah, you responded to something I sent you a month ago.
Hey, listen, I did that for 5 different people, okay?
So hit us up on Instagram. It's just Instagram.com/Tree of Geek. We do have a website, treeofgeek.com. I don't think anybody goes to it.
No, you can email us.
It's out there. Yeah, you can email us if you want. It's Michael@treeofgeek.com or Josh@treeofgeek.com.
Yeah, whoever you prefer to talk to.
I don't think we've ever gotten an email to those accounts.
No, that's okay.
That is okay.
Yeah, that's fine. What about Patreon? What if you wanted to help support us? What would you do?
So if you're really enjoying what you're hearing, we do have a Patreon set up. I know.
It's collecting dust, but it's still there.
I know it sounds a little premature. We're jumping in. We have a Patreon set up and we don't even have a big following. Well, you know what?
We're trying.
We're trying. We want this podcast to go on for quite a while. So if you want to help us make sure it continues for quite a while,
Till our kids graduate.
Patreon. Yeah, I got 3 kids to send to college, people.
Yeah, we're just talking about certain ones.
Patreon.com/Tree of Geek. $5 a month. That's all it takes.
Like a cup of coffee for $5, guys, man. Hey, go back and listen to the Dane Cook comedy special about giving 5 cents for Magugu. Guys, there's $5, $2. You know, if you're like, no, I'm only going to give you the $1. I don't care how, I don't know how it works on the site, but send whatever you can,
Well, through the website, treeofgeek.com, you can donate whatever you would like.
Yeah, there you go.
Patreon, $5 a month. You will get your name shouted out every episode. You'll see some behind the scenes photos and videos. We just talked about this the other day. We have some ideas for a few just little fun videos that we're going to do that are going to be Patreon specific. It only costs $5. No, not those videos. Those are on
my feet videos.
Those are on our OF.
My only feet.
Yeah, your only feet. So on that note, shout out John. Thank you so much, as always, buddy, for being a subscriber.
Yeah, he was supposed to be with us.
He was.
Today. He was under the weather.
He's under the weather. He's got some
gonna
personal stuff going on. So, buddy, just know that we love you, and we're here to support you no matter what.
Absolutely.
And Unconfined you, thank you for being our paid subscriber, who I'm 99% sure forgot that you subscribed, but that's okay.
I didn't forget you, buddy. I didn't forget you at all.
That is okay. One day, you might catch up on all the episodes and be like, oh, yeah, I did do that. Well, you know what? By then, I might have enough to buy myself a cup of coffee. But
you need $1.25 more, but that's fine. Hey,
if
guys.
you go to Starbucks, maybe.
No, well, the local shop here is like $6 something for like a large
that's true.
toasted mocha. Delicious, though. I
usually get hot tea.
Man, disgusting.
What do you want to say?
Dude?
I'm a tea guy.
Well, you know what?
Not today,
tea,
though.
Coffee, water, beer.
I started my day out with a Monster.
Be responsible.
I started my day out this morning with a Monster, followed by 2 cups of coffee, and then I had a Monster before I left work today. So you
should like drop dead one day.
Probably.
Crack open a Red Bull and just drop.
But I was up to almost 1 last night, and then I get up at between 5:30 and 6 every day. So I was running on fumes. I'm still running on fumes. We'll put it that way.
Well, we'll get you out of here. Everybody, thank you so much for lending us your ears so that you could get our sweet harmonies, fly in there like a Winnebago, and hit your self-destruct button.
Sexy voice.
Sexy voice. Now, speaking of leather jackets.
I can break the fourth wall, too. The proposal. If you know what that is, you know what that is.
Everybody, the day after Deadpool and Wolverine, every single outlet had every single
I know.
out there.
I know. All right, well, look, people. This has been fun. Go watch Spaceballs. For the Tree of Geek, this is Josh saying take care.
And this is Michael saying, a jug.
Are you allowed to do that?
This got canceled by Emily.